Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have a new project bike and this is a Honda MSX 125, also known as a Honda Grom. Now this bike is a 2017 model, so it does come with ABS on the front, and I won this out of the Copart auctions. My final bid was £1,200, so once Copart they sort of add their extra taxes and that, it come to £1,500. So I definitely pulled my own pants down because this bike is not a £1,500 Honda Grom. It probably should have gone to a scrap yard and just, you know, been squashed or something, because of you can't even take any part off this bike to resell it, and you'll see why in a few minutes. It honestly looks like it has been wheelied through every single hedge in the United Kingdom and then washed with a brick. It is in the worst condition I have ever seen. Now, when this come up on the site, it didn't look too bad, and I stand by the photos. Yes, it looked like there was a couple little scuffs here and there, but it didn't look too bad, and for £1,200 I thought that's a bargain. And then when I've looked at this bike in person, yeah, it is going to be pretty hard to even try get my £1,500 out of it. I'm going to have to try sell this bike to a blind man. So Copart did say it runs. I honestly have no idea on what, maybe hopes and dreams. It does have a key. If we put the key on, there is nothing. So hopefully it's only going to be the battery's dead and this thing is going to fire up and idle lovely. But judging by the looks of it, I honestly have zero hope for this bike. So I think maybe the next best thing to do is get this into the garage, put a battery on and find out whether this thing is going to run. So while I put it in the garage, let's leave you with a quick sort of look at the bike. Now you guys have seen the condition of this bike, please don't all go down to the comments and laugh, because I do feel like Stevie Wonder himself wouldn't have paid £1,500 for this bike. But we're here now, so we might as well take this seat off that requires no effort and test this battery. Now we can get up into the battery, but look how dirty all this is. It is absolutely filthy in here. But anyway, let's test this battery. And as you can see, we've got 3.9 volts, so that is completely dead. So let's swap it out for a new one. And there we go, that's the old battery out. And while I'm here, I'm just going to quickly clean this battery tray out because it is filthy. Let's put a fresh battery in now. And hopefully now, let's just grab the multimeter to double check that the battery's good. And as you can see, we've now got 12.6 volts. Let's put the ignition on. Everything powers up and we've still got 12.4 volts. So that's good. So let's fire this thing up, if it fires up. Right, I'm not sure how much fuel is in here. Completely empty. The bike has done 2,773 miles, which isn't too bad, and it is currently 1 o'clock in the morning, which it definitely isn't. We have a right indicator permanently on. Let's see if they even work. The hell was that noise? The relay did not sound good then. Left indicator does work. The right one stays on, so we've got an issue there. But let's see if this thing fires up. Does it tell us what gear this thing goes in? So that's first, there's neutral. Right, let's see if this thing's gonna fire up. Am I gonna have to pull the clutch in? It does have oil, by the way. I did check to see if it had oil. It runs! That's probably the zero fuel. Let's see. Oh! Something didn't sound too healthy at the back here. This has got a flat tyre as well. Tell you what though, it does not sound too bad at all. It's idling pretty nicely. Perfect. It's not burning oil either. Let's turn this thing off before I gas myself out again. Whew. So yeah, we do obviously have a slight electrical issue then, as we have that indicator permanently on. Let's see with ignition, no lights on. We might have to look into it. I'm sure with ignition on, we should have some form of light. So we're gonna have to pull the relays, test them, check some fuses. Other than that, first impression, at least it runs. So we're off to a good start. Is the brake light on as well? Let's test that. No, okay, so that's just the rear light. So that's good. Did the rear indicators work at all? So they do work, but just that one decides to stay on. So we're definitely not going to quite get this through an MOT yet. But that's a good starting point. The engine's not blown. It sounds pretty good. We have zero fuel, so we do need to get some fuel for it. We've got a good starting point, I think. £1,500. Starting to look a bit better. I'm going to have to laugh about that, or else I'm going to cry. I reckon Copart are still laughing at this. 1,500 quid, what was I thinking? Next part, let's repair this under the seat locking mechanism. That is an almighty long screw for the tiniest little panel in the world. There we go. Actually, do you know what? Let's remove this whole fairing because we're going to have to get to the air filter to service it anyway. We're not going to take it out on the road just yet. We've got a lot to repair, so let's just actually get all of these fairings off. I mean, realistically, I am going to have to try and find some new panels because look at the damage that is on these. They are just completely scuffed. Absolutely everywhere. And now you can see why I was saying it looks like it's been washed by a brick. So as you can see, there's loads of little leaves and stuff in there. So let's remove this, clean it up, and then hopefully we do have all the bits and pieces to put this all back together again. So now I'm going to quickly go clean this up. So now we've cleaned it up, it's time to put all this mechanism together. Let's go that way shortly. That bit definitely needs to come up on this bit. Definitely needs to go that way around. Oh, there we go. That's got to be the correct way, surely. Push that in there. There we go. Let's just see if I can get this on camera for you. And then if I turn the key, that should now open that lock. Yeah, perfect. Look. Lovely. So now let's put all this back on. So yeah, next up we're just going to get this air filter out, see how dirty it is, and just start servicing the bike really. So we'll be able to change the spark plug, drop the oil out. I'm sure with that service kit there's actually there's an oil spinner inside the engine there, and there's a gasket for that as well, so we can change that while we're here. We have now removed all the screws for our airbox cover, so let's pull it off. Yeah, and that air filter does not look very clean at all. So that's now the screw removed for the air filter. We can pull it out. And yeah, as you can see, that is not very clean. So yeah, good job we're changing that out, and then I'm going to get a wipe. So now we've cleaned up our airbox, time to put our new air filter back in. And then we've cleaned up our air filter cover as well, and then we can put that back on. So that's the air filter changed and airbox lid all cleaned up anyway. We can move on now down to the spark plug. And this is going to give us a real good indication on how well this engine has been running and if this spark plug has ever been changed. So let me grab a socket. God, look at the state of that spark plug. And the end there is pretty black, so Yeah, I'm not even sure if that's ever been changed. So let's swap this out for a new one. And as you can see, brand new spark plug looks a lot better. So let's put this one in. And then you only want to torque that to probably around about 16 Newton meters, which really isn't a lot, just like that. It's not tight at all. So we've got a nice clean drain can underneath, so we want to, fingers crossed, and hope for zero metal coming out into the oil. So on the drain bun, it does actually have a magnetic pickup, and as you can see, there is sort of a few bits of metal shavings on there, but I wouldn't be too concerned about it, just purely because we probably know it's had a bit of a hard life, and also I don't know if that oil's been changed. That is quite black, so this could possibly be the first service it's had. It is kind of hard to tell. Let's tip the bike upright and get all this oil out. Yeah, there we go. So that's all the oil pretty much out now. We do have a new drain plug, so let me grab that. So there is a slight difference between the old drain bung and the new one. Now I feel like this is the original one and this is just kind of a bit of a knockoff cheap version in the service kit. Now, I'm not going to probably use this one only because I don't feel like that's going to seal as good as the original one. So what I'm going to do is just take the washer off, flip it around, and then that's going to sort of help reseal it. And then we're just going to clean this one up and use the original one. And actually, the magnet on the old drain bung, so the original one, is a lot stronger than the new one. So I feel like putting this one back in is a better solution. And this will have a torque setting, but again, they don't have to be done up really tight. Just literally just nip like that. That'll be perfect. So the next thing to do is let's take a look at this oil. And as you can see, that oil is pretty black. There's a few tiny little metal shavings in there, but you know, nothing too big, so I'm not too worried about it for now. And then I think in the service kit we do have a gasket for, there's like a sort of an oil spinner in behind this, so we're going to pull this cover off now in a second. We're going to have to sort of get our foot pegs out of the way, fold all this out, and then undo the side of the engine cover. Yeah, there we go. Leave that up there. Next thing to do is remove this clutch cable. Ah, it is honestly so close, but yeah, so far. Come on, that was there. Get out. Get out. There we go. That was a bit of a faff, but we got there in the end. So that's now the clutch cable removed. I think that is kind of everything. I might just grab a bit of rag and try and knock some of this dirt off because I don't want that going inside the engine at all. Probably could have done with washing it beforehand. So I'm not really sure why GoPro didn't record that last bit, but we've just removed our side cover of the engine. We've put all the bolts sort of in order. We've made this lovely detailed diagram. Just it ain't going to make much of a difference, but just in case a couple of them are sort of different size, and I think it's good practice to put the bolts back where they come from. So yeah, now we can get to our oil spinner and check how clean it is. So I've got a coin, and hopefully this is going to work. That, or I'm about to make a terrible mess. Let me try a small little coin maybe. Let's just lock up in the engine here. I think this could work. Let's see. Yes, lovely. So hopefully now we can just remove this. No wonder how much metal could be inside this. Oh my god. That is actually really bad. Let me get a clean bit of rag here. and the oil has gone very sort of thick and gloopy. That is not good. Let me grab a little flatted screwdriver to show you. I mean, this is a good job we did open this up to check, because, I mean, you heard it running. It did run quite nicely, but... Wait, is that the gasket? What the hell is all this? Oh, that must be the gasket, is it? Surely the gasket don't sit in there like that. But look at all this. That is not how the gasket sits in there, I'm sure. I really wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I think that gasket has started to fail, because that shouldn't be all sat inside like that. So this was way overdue a service anyway. That is for sure, definitely. Because this is the gasket here. Let me grab a little blade to flip that out. And I think that just kind of confirms how hard of a life this bike has had. No service whatsoever. Hopefully we've caught it in good time, and hopefully it's not been too late. Hopefully this engine's not on its way out. It didn't sound like it. It did actually idle and sound quite nice. It didn't sound like there was any horrible sort of knocking noise. Either we have just saved this engine from probably certain death, or we are probably about to experience an engine failure. So now our oil spinner is nice and clean. We can put the new gasket on, and I actually originally thought that this gasket had broken down and that's what was inside here, but that is actually not gasket. It's just like old oil and, don't know, debris. So maybe if you guys have changed yours and you've seen this, you can kind of let me know, but I'm guessing this is maybe just sort of dried up oil as such. Like, it's not quite a gasket, but yeah, it's horrible stuff. Anyway, so let's get the new gasket and get this built back up again. So we have our new gasket there. There's the part number if you need it. So the gasket can only go on one way, and it is this way, so we need to put it on like so. So yeah, now we've got our gasket on, Loctite as well. We can put this on now. And then we can torque these bolts here just to 12 Newton meters. There it is. Perfect. And then don't forget to take your coin back out. So yeah, dowels and gasket on. Now we can put our cover back on. Perfect. And then let's tighten these all up now. Again, ain't got to be mega tight, just sort of give them a good nip and then that'll do. Let's put our dipstick back in to make sure we don't get any contaminants in the engine. And then the next one now is to get this nightmare clutch cable back in place again. And that is now the rear set all complete. It's time to put all these tools away and then move over to this dodgy light. Take the shrouding off and we'll take a look. So it turns out I might have been a little bit thick here. Now I didn't know this because I've never really seen it on an indicator, but it turns out these are running daylights. I was literally just on eBay looking for a flasher relay, because as you can hear with this one, it does sound a little bit fruity. So they're only £2-3 to change, so I'm going to order one of them. But yeah, it's gone from me thinking that this was just permanently on broken to actually being running daylights, and then this side should be on. So let's check the bulb, because obviously if it's a two-part filament, hopefully it's just one part of the filament that's broke, so we can change the bulb, or it could be part of a wire broken that should be permanently live. So yeah, let me just go ahead and open this up. Right, so, oh yeah, oh my god, that is actually really rusty in there. So I'm guessing Oh, I can't even get the bulb out. I reckon we've had a bit of water ingress in there. There we go. Yeah, and as you can see, that bulb is quite rusty. So, I mean, probably realistically I could do with replacing it, because as you can see, it's quite rusty in there. And it's probably the earth side of it has got a dodgy earth. So we've not got a good enough ground for the bulb. So let me grab maybe a little screwdriver or something. To maybe hopefully give it a bit of a better earth. It turns out I do have a spare bulb. Oh, look at that. Bloody hell, that's bright. My lens back on. So there we go, we've now got a running daylights, and let's just double check. Indicator works. So does that one, still on. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Actually, to be honest with you, when you look at this side, this does look pretty new compared to this side. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that on the camera. So maybe it might be a bit of a common issue with these, that they do rust out and they have to be replaced. So that might be a consideration to keep it in, because I don't want to drive it over to the MOT station and then it fail, because of that would be quite annoying. So next thing to do is let's do a valve clearance check, and that will then complete the service on this bike. So our inlet valve needs to be 0.10 with a 0.2 of a mil as the tolerance. So let's hope that this goes in and it's bang on. Yeah. So that goes in, and that's quite sort of tight actually. So the inlet valve is bang on. So now we know our inlet valve is bang on. Unfortunately, with these feeler gauges, I can't really add up to get bang on. I can go slightly over, which is too tight, and then just under, which has got quite a bit of play in there. So kind of judging off that, I think it is within tolerance. So I can't exactly, you know, say it is bang on, but I do need to order another set of feeler gauges with the correct sort of thing, because on these they're just sort of a bit of a cheap set. I can't really add them up to what I need, so I'm going to go ahead and get a better set of feeler gauges so I can double check this. But for now, I'm happy with it. Yeah, so let's go ahead and put these inspection plates back on. So there we go, people. That is part one of the muddiest Honda Grom complete, all serviced and is looking good. Other than it needs a good wash down. So part two, we're going to give this a nice clean before we put the fairings back on, get it booked in for an MOT and get this tyre sorted, because that is flat as a pancake. Other than that, it's pretty much ready to go, roadworthy anyway, so hopefully it'll fly through the MOT and then we can have a little rip on this, because I've been wanting to get on a Grom for quite some time, so it'll be kind of ticking one off the bucket list. And now the good weather is literally only around the corner, we'll be getting the 650R fired back up and out for the summer. So yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification if you're new here, and that's going to bring you straight back for all the future content and much more. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, peace out.